Delighted to be joined over the telephone by Dr. Hasan, Wagih, political analyst. Dr. Hasan, a very good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much for joining us, Doctor. Now, today, the Arab Parliament held its fourth conference at the Arab League headquarters, which was attended by speakers of the Arab parliaments from all around the Arab world. Let's talk a bit about the importance of this conference, Doctor, and how do you see the meeting of the Arab parliamentarians today?
Actually, this is supposed to be a very good and very important event.
Yes.
Because we consider the Arab Parliament, which is part of the Arab League, is supposed to be one of the most important modalities in managing crises, and not only managing crises, but also anticipating and preventing crises from getting slided or getting exacerbated.
Yes.
So I think it holds a very important entity, and it helps also the formal diplomacy. It tends to be parliaments, Arab parliaments, and Arab parliaments are supposed to have this larger margin, much more freedom to speak out about any problems and any crises. So I think this track to diplomacy is essential for managing unprecedented challenges for the Arab world. The Arab world is being threatened from inside and from international crises that is really taking place these days.
Indeed, Dr. Hasan. Now, as you said, they discussed crises happening all around the world, specifically in the Arab region, one of which, of course, that stood out was the Palestinian issue, the Palestinian cause, and they called on the international community to, shoulder its responsibility towards the legitimate right of the Palestinians. How important is it that the Palestinian cause featured high on the agenda of talks in today's session?
Yes, it shows that the Palestinian cause is still very central to all the Arab peoples all over the Arab countries, and is still number one problem. And I think that when we are trying to ask the pressures from the outside international community, and we'd like very much to come to solve this problem altogether, I think we need the factions inside Palestine to get united first, as the head of the parliament mentioned. As every fair-minded would suggest. Because we are being pressured from within by regional powers and from international powers who would like to control the situation. There is no way out for all the Arab peoples unless they get united together and they have a say in what is taking place, or else some other people would have a say.
Yes, indeed. And as you said, Doctor, as the Arab Parliament speaker said himself, there's a call for all countries to evade intervention in any Arab country issue. And another very important issue related to the Libyan situation and how the mercenaries are being asked to leave. And of course, terrorism was also high on the agenda of the talks. How important was it that all the speakers today spoke about the issue of terrorism and how Arab nations are doing their utmost in the fight against terrorism?
Yeah, I think the analysis provided today is well done, because if you still have crises and you don't overcome them in countries like Libya, Sudan, Lebanon, and several other countries, yes, we are supposed to handle this, the situation in these countries, because having crises is providing a milieu for militias, for interventions, for terrorists. So I think fighting terrorism is still important, and it needs radical solutions through stability and the peace to be established in the turmoiled Arab land, because turmoiled Arab land provides the atmosphere the militias are seeking, and those who are launching fourth and fifth generation wars use this situation. We have to prevent that from happening, because we have to bring back security and stability to the Arab nation. And I would say Arab nation, yes, we don't have any way out but to consider and aspire for an Arab nation. system to resist what's happening. And I think also the media is playing a very important role in track to diplomacy as the Arab parliaments exactly. And I think that there should be some strategic orientation. And the Arab Parliament is seeking to convene a conference on how the social media are being misused against nationalistic and patriotic agendas.
Yes, indeed, as we saw, the Speaker of the Arab Parliament saying the importance of the media in providing the coverage as a mainstream coverage for Arab issues. Indeed, Dr. Hasan Wagih, our political analyst, I'd like to thank you very, very much, sir, for your time and your insight.